Hi there. Welcome to ZzzzLEAP podcast. That is 4 Z's in a row and then LEAP, leap. I'd like to start with a question. How is your sleep? And I want you to really ask yourself, is it deep? Is it restful? Is it consistent? Or have you been running on fumes hoping you'll sleep better at some point in your life? If you found this podcast, chances are you want to prioritize your sleep. Maybe you're not getting enough of it. Maybe you want to improve the quality of the rest you are getting. Or maybe you're just curious and you would like to know what sleep actually is. So, whatever are your reasons, I'm glad you're here. Whether you're listening right before bed, lying awake in the quiet hours, or just hoping for a little more calm in your life, this space is for you. I'm Gabriel, the host and the creator of ZzzzLEAP podcast, and someone who, just like you, have struggled with sleep. Welcome to ZzzzLEAP, where we leap towards better sleep, one peaceful night at a time. I created ZzzzLEAP to be your cozy, reliable companion for winding down, drifting off, and understanding sleep in a gentle, grounded way. So go ahead, get comfortable, fluff your pillow, tuck yourself in, and just know there is nothing you need to be doing right now. Just be here and get a good night's rest. Tonight's episode is an introduction episode where we go through why I created this podcast, why sleep matters more than we ever thought, what happens when we don't prioritize it, and what can you expect from ZzzzLEAP moving forward. Each episode is designed to help you learn something new about sleep. Sometimes it's about prioritizing sleep, sometimes about how to get deeper sleep, sometimes about how to get the maximum rejuvenation from the minimum time you have. And why not an episode on how to stay fresh and pull out an all-nighter when you have a deadline coming? So, what is this podcast not about? This podcast is not about hacks or hustle or another item for your to-do list. Not directly about productivity, no fancy visuals or stimulants. There are no cliffhangers here, no loud ads in the middle or the end of the episodes. Even if there are, they'll probably be in the start of the episode, so there won't be interruptions in the middle of the episode when you're just about to drift off. It's about smooth sounds, slow rhythms, topics that invite your mind to calm down. One of the main goals of this podcast is about prioritizing your sleep. It's about finally giving your sleep the space it deserves. And if you're ready to do that, even just a little bit, then you're already taking your first step by pressing play. So let's begin. Let's discuss what is sleep all about. Tonight's episode is a soft landing, a gentle beginning. Tonight I'll share with you where ZzzzLEAP came from, what you can expect, and why this podcast even exists. ZzzzLEAP is a journey where I and you as a listener go through everything related to sleeping and subconscious. It is more than just tips and tricks for sleep. It's a cozy, curiosity-driven space where we explore not just how to fall asleep faster, but how to figure out what's the optimum amount of sleep for you, what's the best position, what is the best environment to get a dose, and how to find what works exactly for you. But also, what sleep actually is, why is it essential, what does it do to us, and how can we finally prioritize it and get good at it? Furthermore, we will go through different sleeping disorders and how to cure them, or if there is no cure, how to work your way around them. We will discuss disorders like sleep paralysis, sleepwalking, nighttime anxiety, everything related to sleep. And we will also dive deeper in topics like subconscious mind. What are dreams? Do they mean something? Why do we have nightmares? Or science behind lucid dreaming. So, yeah, sometimes we go a little more philosophical. After all, sleeping is where our imagination runs free. So, there will be episodes like this one where we talk, reflect, maybe disclose some soft science behind sleeping, interview experts, and then there will be so called sleep casts, which are these calming audio experiences that I have planned with nature sounds, meditations, white noise, or simple stories to help you drift off without effort. Think of them as a good bedtime story, but for grown ups who are tired of their to do lists hijacking their dreams. But more on the topics and episodes later. So, why I created sleep? Well, sleep and I have always had a complicated relationship. I have battled a mild insomnia for as long as I remember, maybe since I was a kid. My body would be tired, my mind wouldn't wind down or log off. Replaying the day, forecasting tomorrow, contemplating why I once waved back at that someone who wasn't even waving at me. You know, the usual existential spirals. So, I have had the idea for this podcast for a long time, but I also had the lack of confidence, and actually, I was a little bit maybe scared of getting behind a mic. But talking to others encouraged me, others who actually needed this, some even more than myself. And I think if I am able to help a single person, I have achieved my goal here. So, a little bit about myself. I am not a doctor, not a celebrity, and definitely don't want to be one. I do have a master's degree in sustainability and a strong, immense interest in social sustainability and well being of people, especially mental health, which most of it is directly related to neglecting sleeping and resting and losing balance through that. So, I would say I'm a person who has been learning how valuable sleep is after conversations with countless amount of people, decided that this is needed. And despite being afraid of getting behind a mic, I decided this has to be done and I have to do it. And as you have probably already guessed it, I have been reading and learning about sleep almost all my life. I have tested countless methods, tips and tricks, suggestions. I have tried everything from herbal teas to meditation apps to YouTube rabbit holes. Some have helped me, some didn't, but I have been learning a lot throughout the process. And sometimes, based on people's symptoms, I have given them some advice that have actually helped them. So, at some point in my life, I made a decision to make this a mission to ask people when they are tired. And almost always it led to not enough sleep, bad quality sleep, or no sleep at all. So, over time, I started noticing something. I wasn't alone. Lots of my friends, my coworkers, some of family members were walking around like sleepy zombies, surviving on caffeine and complaining about not sleeping well. Sometimes it was stress, sometimes it was that late evening coffee, sometimes it was just life. So I thought, what if there was a space, a simple, safe space where people could come to understand sleep better, to ease into it, and maybe fall in love with it again. And that's when sleep was born. So you might be wondering why ZzZzLEAP with four Z's and then LEAP. Well, is that a classic cartoon snore sound? And I always thought it was funny how we associate sleep with the letter Z. It's universal, it's silly, and honestly, it's kind of perfect. The last letter of alphabet is Z, and we sleep at the end of our day. And then leap, because even though this podcast is about slowing down, it's still about self improvement, and we are leaping towards better rest, better balance, better presence. It's soft, it's playful, but it is purposeful because sleep is not a luxury, it is a need. So let's have a real talk about why sleeping matters. We live in a world that kind of glorifies exhaustion, so called TikTok generation, where quick dopamine hit is a must in everything. Everything is fast paced. It's about constant stimulations. Everything is about stealing your attention and turning your head away from sleeping, resting, and giving yourself a much needed break. Ever noticed that, oh, I only slept for 4 hours last night, has become this weird badge of honor? Meanwhile, our bodies are screaming for a break. Our brains are quietly plotting a coup. And when we don't get enough, well, we feel it. We snap at people, we crave sugar, we stare at our mail inbox like it's written in ancient Greek. Uh, Lack of sleep is tied to everything from weight gain to heart disease to blood pressure to burnout. Lack of sleep enhances all age related problems, and these are certain, these are facts. But it is also said that lack of sleep can possibly activate genetic related problems. Now, none of us wants that. And there is so much more that we don't know of yet. Not to mention your hobbies, your relationships, your work, your joy, all of that suffers when you're sleep deprived. Good sleep can help you concentrate on your work and your life and your health. I'd go as far as to say that sleep not only adds years to your life, but also life to your ears. And I came with that quote writing this script. So I'm pretty proud of that. Anyways, throughout time, philosophers, scientists, even religious figures have talked about the importance of resting and sleeping. Everything starts with a good sleep. There is a concept called 888 rule, as in there's 24 hours a day, and it is divided by 8 hours for work, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of sleep. Let's call it work-life balance in today's terms. That means you get to work 8 hours, do everything else in 8 hours, including cooking, eating, hobbies, exercise, family time, social time, self-care, entertainment, all of that. And then 8 hours for sleeping and resting. I believe sleep is the counterbalance to everything. Helps you get so much more of the other 8 hours. Sleep is the time when our brains reset, our muscles repair, our emotions settle, our immune system recharges. Basically, everything we care about focus, energy, mood, creativity they all run on sleep. The truth is, sleep is not optional. The 888 rule might sound ideal, but in reality, most of us are borrowing from that last 8 to prop up the first 2. And that's where things start falling apart. Maybe you can relate. Maybe your mind spins at night. Maybe you have made a poor decision near bedtime. Like that last espresso at 6 p.m. I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. Or that one last episode that turned into 2, then 3, sometimes into an entire season. We have all been there. Sleeping is not consistent. Sometimes you sleep well, sometimes worse. It can be seasonal. Everything impacts sleep: temperature, humidity, stress. So, if you need a little help, why not try this? Whatever your sleep struggle is, know this: you are not alone. Sleep is your companion. And the aim of this podcast is to help you identify patterns that'll help you get a good night's sleep and wake up fresh and more energetic to your next day. Sleep is about meaningful resting, recharging, and long term fix, long term productivity, better health, better life, better balance. And if you take good care of your rest, you will be doing well. Everyone else around you will also be doing better. You can be a better partner, you can be a better parent, you can be a better friend. Um, it can have a proper societal impact. And if you follow this podcast mindfully, consciously, over time you will start recognizing habits, foods, activities, and other patterns that might help or hinder your sleep. This podcast is about becoming more conscious about your own body, your mind, and the amount of rest they need. So, the real goal of sleep at the end of the day, or should I say night, the mission is simple: to learn to sleep better, get a better rest from the time you have, and it's just a safe space to come back to night after night to build better sleeping routines, better sleeping habits from inside out. What you can expect from this podcast's future episodes. Um, as we mentioned, regular episodes like this one, where we dive into sleeping topics, myths, book reviews, scientific researches and studies on sleep, um, dream tracking challenges, listener submitted stories, and of course, interviews with experts of the field, from sleep researchers, therapists, nutritionists, pharmaceutical companies to yoga teachers and meditation teachers. We can, for example, discuss how meditation practice impact brain waves in sleep. So sometimes it's about learning and finding the best ways for yourself to sleep, to fall asleep, to stay asleep better. Sometimes it's about relaxing and calming anxious mind. But every episode is designed to help you get some new perspective or learn something new about sleep and about subconscious mind during sleep. And there are sleepcasts. So in sleepcast, we would disclose a method or a technique that is proven to help with falling asleep. Then there will be a short wind down, and then you get to practice the new technique that you have learned. As we are individuals, not every sleepcast will help you, but if a specific sleepcast helps you drift off, add it to your favorites so you can get back to it every time you need a little extra help with falling asleep. Each episode by design will run about 30 minutes. Why 30? Based on research, a tired person falls asleep in 10 minutes or less. On average, people fall asleep around 20 minutes, and if you are not sleepy or tired, then it might take around 30. So, if you're already sleepy, great. If you're not, the episode gives you space to wind down without pressure. But 30-minute episodes will ensure it will run long enough to fall asleep, short enough not to feel like a commitment. And there will be no pressure to even listen till the end. If you fall asleep in the middle of the episode, it means it has done its job. And I cannot emphasize enough how important your voice is for this podcast, especially if you have found a magical solution to your sleep problem that have worked wonders for you. Write us. Someone else might exactly need to hear your story and the solution to your problem. You would be surprised how much your voice can help someone else sleep better. You can send in your stories, your rituals, your odd dreams, especially those repeated ones, to ZzzzLEAP at gmail.com or ZzzzLEAP on Instagram. Other socials will be coming soon. Your feedback will help shape this space, this podcast for all listeners. Sharing also helps, especially you should share this podcast with your friends and family who is struggling with sleeping. As mentioned, I will be inviting therapists, wellness folks, and I will give you a heads up so you can submit your questions ahead of time, because sometimes the solution to your sleep problem isn't a fancy gadget, it's a perspective that you haven't heard yet. My aim is to build a society where we help each other get better sleep, stress less, have less anxiety, be more present for our careers, for our families, for our loved ones. And the impact of this can have a ripple effect. It can make your life better, but also life of your closed ones. If you, for example, recommend this to your partner, and if they're well rested, they are less stressed, that will impact your life as well positively. So, if somebody is suffering from seasonal insomnia or having a stressful time and you think this might help them, you should recommend it. And by extension, it might impact your life positively too. As a final thought, I would like to say that sleeping is not a luxury. It's not something to squeeze in if there is time. It's a need, a basic, beautiful, essential part of being a human. When you sleep well, you serve your loved ones better, you show up for your life more fully, you live longer, you're funnier, or maybe it's just me. But by investing in your sleep, you are saying, I matter, my health matters. Sleep doesn't just help you survive, it helps you thrive. And if it's not through this podcast, then read about it, educate yourself, talk about it, give it your time and energy. It'll pay back with dividends. So, tonight, give yourself permission to rest. Let the day go. There is nothing you need to do right now. No emails, no deadlines, no pressure. At this moment, there is nothing more important than your sleep. Tonight, you don't need to solve anything, achieve anything. Just rest, breathe, relax. Thank you for being here, if you have made it to the end. Or if you have fallen asleep somewhere in the middle, congratulations, that means it's working. And finally, I will run you through a deep, relaxing breathing technique. Try to relax your body with each in-breath and let go of everything in your mind with each out-breath. Relax deeper and deeper with each breath. Feel your body sink in bed. So we breathe for 4, hold for 4, and then breathe out for 6. Breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. Out for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. Out for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In for 4, 2, 3, 4. hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And with that, we will wrap up this episode. I'm Gabriel, and this has been the first episode of ZzzzLEAP podcast, where we leap towards better sleep. And I'll be here with you again and again. Let this be the beginning of a more restful relationship with your nights. Until next time, sleep well, dream deep, and be kind to your tired self. Good night.